Welcome to this edition of Compsoft Creative Ruminates. This is where we look at the things that are happening today in digital and mobile and I guess shine our beacons of light of intelligence upon them and weed out the good, the bad and the ugly, share it with you folks at home so you can make informed decisions about whether you buy this stuff, whether you integrate with it with your apps or whatnot. In this episode we're going to be looking at the Google Home and the Amazon Echo, which are the baby sisters, I guess, because they've both got girls' voices at the moment, to the larger counterparts. And we're looking at these ahead of Apple's HomePod coming out, which has now been delayed until next year, which is a bit of a shame because I'm quite looking forward to seeing that. Gentlemen, what were your first thoughts upon the products themselves?
Yeah, overall, I'm fairly impressed with the product at the price point. It's not that expensive, but equally doesn't do too much at the moment.
Do you like the look of it? What do you think about?
It's all right. Yeah, it does the job.
Compared to the Google Home, I think that's a little bit more ugly. I think this could fit more seamlessly, I think, into a home, whereas that I'm not so sure.
It feels like it. That's my initial kind of thoughts on the actual kind of look and feel of the thing. This is like soft and fabricy and, as you say, a bit more homey. This is a little bit plasticky, although it does have the cool Alexa. That I like that. I love that. Whereas the Google's little one is, "Hey Google." So I think as we look at them, kind of, it feels to me that the Google Home fits better in a home environment and is a bit softer. This has got the cool LED, the Echo Dot, but a bit plasticky for me. So setup, I know you've taken this one home and played this one. I set them both up, and I found that the Google Home is really, really easy to set up compared to the Echo Dot, because with the Echo Dot you have to connect to it in your phone as if it's a Wi-Fi router, then you put it onto the Wi-Fi, whereas Google Home is using Bluetooth to do that, so you just have to get it near and then you can connect it straight to Wi-Fi without faffing around in settings. So I found the general setup was much easier with this. What were your thoughts in getting it going?
Yeah, I had a couple of issues on it. So most of the setup of these products are actually done via an app rather than interaction with the device directly. And we did have some problems where I think every time we've tried to set the dot up now, we've had to force quit the app to be able to kind of get through it. But other than that, I found it fine, to be honest. It was quite nice. It picked up some details off my Amazon account automatically, so you didn't have to go through any sort of large input or large setup process. It knew who you were. But yeah, I thought it was okay.
I think one of the interesting things with this is I set it up on my desk against my own Amazon account, and then when I went to my Amazon basket shortly thereafter, I found some, well, not the sort of items you'd want your wife or your mother to find in your basket, thanks to some hilarious colleagues. So I think there's the genuinely that is like there's a security thing, because actually my kids are always accidentally ordering online with Amazon. Yeah. And this can potentially make it a lot easier. Yeah. So there are games, aren't there, available on the Echo Dot, which we've been playing them, which is where you sort of give it a question and answer. So
kind of choose your own adventure style.
Yeah,
stuff
20 questions. Is quite cool.
Out there. Yeah.
So there's more stuff because the Echo Dots or the Echo has been out there for longer, and so there's more kind of games available, apps available for the piece of kit. But you've got to be careful with kids with that, because again that can be sensitive data. So, how did you find the speech recognition on both these units? Because they're both supposed to be able to talk to them as if they are humans.
Didn't have any issues with it. I mean, you kind of attack these things with an idea of what they will accept and what they won't accept. Only a couple of times, really, was I let down with thinking it would understand what I was talking about. Something that's important that we've been discussing in the office is the idea of context. So if you ask the unit something, if you then ask it a subsequent question, you shouldn't need to give it the context of your first question for it to be able to understand what you're saying.
And I found that Alexa, because that's the character to whom you speak, was not nearly as good at natural speech recognition and variety of response and understanding and that context. You can say 3 or 4 things to the Google Home, and she'll kind of go with you, retaining reference. So you can say, "Is there a McDonald's near here?" and she'll tell you if there is one. And then you can say, "What do they have on the menu?" and she can try and find that answer because she knows what you're talking about McDonald's. And I found that Alexa was far more limited.
Yeah, I think Google pumped quite a bit of money into that contextual stuff, because obviously with the latest Pixel phones, I think the Google Assistant is the same as what's on the Google Home. Yeah. So that in your hand is obviously a lot more. It's more important to have that contextual.
And actually, in terms of data, Google clearly have access to reams of data compared to Amazon.
That was a huge thing when I was testing this. I was trying to find opening times of a local shop, and asking it, Alexa just knew about none of the local shops, no matter, even the bigger ones that were very comfortably known with Google, Alexa had no idea about them.
And so, and the other thing I noticed is if we look at what Google were announcing in terms of the kind of the natural speech recognition and the artificial intelligence and the machine learning they're putting in, that is really apparent in this product, which I found a lot less so in what Amazon have provided. So, are these things useful?
So I did actually find some use for it, but it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier around the price point. It is a really cheap product. I found some kind of minor uses for it. For example, a really good one was the obvious one, which is asking the weather for the day. You could just go and look out your window, which sounds obvious, but it doesn't tell you whether it's going to be raining later on that day when you're about to go out and things like that. And again, you could just check on your phone, but it's just quite nice when you're getting ready in the morning to be able to shout out various things to it, find out if you've got anything in your diary, find out the weather for the day. I mean, these are all kind of things that they sell as part of when they're kind of marketing this product that everyone sort of knows about, so nothing groundbreaking, but
they're objects of convenience, aren't they, as opposed to something that's drastically going to change your life, I feel.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about the usefulness, but actually we talked about kids earlier. Firstly, I've heard so many jokes. Actually, it got a bit old. She never repeated a joke, but my boys, I've got 3 boys, and they were just asking it, tell us a joke, tell us another joke, tell us another joke. The other thing that works really nicely, I think, was actually you can ask Google a specific question. You can basically Google using your voice, and if she'll effectively respond with that little précis you get after on a Google search on a web page, which can be really useful. And my son was using it to kind of do his homework. So, what year was the American Civil War? Because obviously that's a big thing in English homework. And but she'll come back with a specific answer and describe it and tell you the site from which it is resourced. So that, I think, it's actually really powerful. So another thing that I think was really powerful for me and actually really impressed me with the Google Kit was this integration with Chromecast. It's super slick. So you can ask her to show something on Netflix or to show a YouTube video, and screen it kind of launch right up, and you can voice commands forward and rewind, and so that was really incredible. So I think if you have that in your house, this is going to be a really useful tool. I think the other thing that's really nice is kind of the home automation stuff, which if you can afford Philips Hue bulbs or a Nest system, these integrate beautifully. Yeah, so I think that's where these really come into their own, is home automation, controlling TV, and potentially helping your son with homework. I think beyond that, I'm not sure what else that they're going to bring to the party just yet.
With the Echo Dot, it doesn't integrate directly with the messaging system. Sending a message, unfortunately, doesn't send a text message via your phone to another person. It sends a message through the Alexa app. You never saw the message because you never opened your Alexa app to see whether you had any messages.
Why would I? I don't get
Obviously, Apple
and
and Google are going to have the advantage of being able to integrate directly into the OS and probably free up a lot of those channels where Amazon haven't got a phone in your pocket yet. So they're kind of fighting against that. So that is a huge downside for me, possibly the biggest downside of the Echo Dot, that until it can integrate with the things you would most likely want to be talking about, which are messaging, email, various things like that, in your OS on your phone, it's not going to be up to par.
Is that what you'd say was a big benefit for you for having one of these in your home?
It's integration into the ecosystem, isn't it? It's like I buy Apple Kit because it all just connects, and Amazon don't provide a phone or a phone iOS, Google do. And so you were saying earlier about the Pixel, the two mesh. David Brent. Finally, I mean, I guess the last thing we want to kind of look at is what does this mean for developers, people with apps? What can, if you've got an app or you've got some kind of bit of software, what can you do with this bit of kit?
Essentially, they both have a similar ecosystem when it comes to actually integrating with them. It's just a case of using webhooks to then query the cloud wherever you're running your back-end solution. It will return the answer, and the device will speak it out if that's the sort of application you want to develop.
I think people with apps, so I think if your app is anything to do with home automation in any way, shape or form, these really are. I think these guys are ready for you. If not, maybe not so much, maybe hold off and see how things develop. I think it's the home automation space for me where they're going to get the most benefit from these.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Cool. Okay, if you had to choose one, which one?
I'll go with the Google Home.
Aesthetically, I'm going with the Google Home. I think they both serve a similar function for me. So I've actually played about with the bigger brother of this, and the sound is pretty incredible. And I've used it at parties and stuff, and that's always quite fun to let people.
Parties.
Yeah, well, I go to social events.
Yeah, I don't. Google Home for me every day. Out of the two of these that I've the experience I've had, easier setup, a lot easier, looks better, is better natural language, and while maybe doesn't have as many apps, kind of is closer integrated with the things that I might use. Obviously, when these when the HomePod comes out,
That's
we can.
it.
That's what we'll do. Thank you for watching.